the wait is finally over. At least to me. You still need to wait a little if you buy one of these. But yeah, the Flex 2 Pro is here. So if you pre-order this one, you're still not gonna have to wait too long. I think it's just a matter of a couple of weeks, maybe a month. But yeah, it's finally here. We can see how it looks like. And before I gonna go out and ride it, I wanted to give you like a close-up look of all the details on this board. So I have the Flex and the Flex ER, and I never got the Flex Pro, but yeah, I got the Flex 2 Pro now, and basically all the Flex deck, they looks very similar. So they are made flexible and HTM Flex, and then we have this kind of like concaves. Now, for what I can see right now, without even riding it, I don't know how flexible it is. I'm gonna tell you that in a moment when I ride it, but what really changed are the flares. So the flares are not so intense like they used to be on the original Flex and Flex ER. I can tell that the concaves are much more natural and more gentle. So I like that. It feels like it's a little bit longer. I'll put the measurements somewhere on the screen. Probably longer, but not by much. And what we can see immediately just from looking at it from the top is this cutout. So that's because you can better see the light from the top. Very smart design. Now the grip tape, even so they have these lines, kind of like from the original Flex, it did change a little, and we have now these lines here as well. Now the arrow is ridiculously small. It's like, I don't know why they make it so small, and it's also almost impossible to read. It says here front, so if you don't look at it from very, very close, you're never gonna see that. But you know how it's X-Way, paying attention to the little details. Now when we turn it around, yet again, we have these lines in here, the ESC with the heatsink. I'm sure we can see that very well. And we have the button here on the ESC, and then the charger here. Very similar design language as before. The battery also looks kind of similar. We have 6 screws to dismount the battery, so in case you, for whatever reason, you need to take the battery out, it's not that difficult to take this battery out. Now we have 8-inch tracks, so they're a little bit longer, and 98 durometers for the pushings. 90mm wheels. Let's take a look at those wheels. And what's new here is we have bush guards, and they feel really good quality. I like that. And they're translucent, meaning that if the lights go on this board, you can still see them with the bush guards. We do have them here on the back as well. The cables, they mount a little bit different than the previous models. They're more like the Atlas Pro. They're very high quality cables. I see Scott Davis' review of the Paragon where he complained about the cables and he put a zip tie. I don't see any issue with this. It looks fine. It's not gonna hook into anything. It looks perfectly fine. Anyway, this is not the Paragon. This is the Flex 2 Pro. It's gonna be the more affordable approach for X-Way to have these really cool LED lights. It seems like it's a trend now in 2024 where all the electric scarecrows, they must have the LED lights. I think, well, the first electric scarecrow ever to have this LED light around the deck was the Wave NASA. It's a limited edition. And the one who really popularized it, I think, is Backfire with the Silhouette X. If you want to watch that review, click somewhere in there. And if you want to watch the Wave review, not the NASA, the standard, you can also click there. I link them over there and put it in the description as well. Okay, so now that we see the design, I want you to take a closer look of the remote, which is the other highlight on this board, because both the Flex 2 Pro and the Flex Paragon, they both have the new Rexus remotes. I want to show you quickly everything that you can do in this remote, how it looks like, and also what light combinations, kind of lights you can have in this board. Okay guys, so here is the Rexus remote, and you can see it's beautifully designed. It's mostly plastic, but that's what makes it lightweight in a way. And you can see here is basically the X-Way logo with all these little groups. That's also from the X-Way logo. The same on the front. That's offer better grip. One thing about this remote, if we compare it to something like the Silhouette X remote, which also have a color screen, this is a lot lighter and a little bit smaller, which makes it a lot more easy when you put it in your pocket. And generally speaking, it offers also a better grip. It's more ergonomically designed for the hand, and it feels really good. One thing that I noticed here is the wheel is much wider. It seems to be made of metal with a lot of screws, so it's basically like an anti-slippery design, and I like that it's kind of wider, thicker. Feels much better quality. Here we have a hard switch to change direction. There is a LED light here on the remote itself that is pretty big, and it's kind of rubberized. I don't know why, but yeah. And we also have a rubber gasket here for the Type-C port and the place where you're gonna put the wrist strap. Okay, here on the front, we have two buttons besides the big rounded screen and the trigger. By the way, the trigger, you control it with this finger, not with this one, because this is the right position to hold the remote. And now we're gonna turn this on and see how it looks like. Straight away we can see this cool animation on the board as well. Now I set the color to orange because that's the original X-Ray color. You can see it here on the logo as well. So they've been using orange for a very long time, orange on the wheel, not anymore so, but yeah, that's the idea. That it used to be orange, that's what I set it to this color. So first we're gonna go deep into the settings on this remote by basically just holding here the left button, the back button, and I hope we can see here, we can repair the remote, we can access the board settings, the remote, the light, other language, and you even have a guide. So let's go one by one into this. I'm not gonna go into repair because I don't need to repair the board, but I am gonna go into board. So we access the settings here. So it seems to be an option for 4-wheel drive. Mind you, this remote is compatible with the Atlas Pro, which have a 4-wheel drive option. So it's most likely for that board, not for this one. I'm not absolutely sure there's going to be a 4-wheel drive version of this, but maybe, who knows. Then we have here turbo mode, I already have it enabled. And then here we can set the max speed. And now take a look at this. I have it for mode 3 at 40 kilometers, or let's say I set it to 35, so it's not that fast. And then when I press again, it let me set now the mode 4 or the turbo, which I have it at the highest speed, 50 kilometers per hour. That is pretty fast. And one thing I know about X-Ray is they don't lie with these things. They usually basically lock the board so they don't go any faster. So I believe the motors can probably do more speed, but for sure it can do 50. So we confirm that. We go down, we have a standby day 7. So this consumes a little bit of battery. So if you put on a standby for 7 days, you might drop like, I don't know, 15, maybe 20% battery, but I like to just hit the remote and that start the board as well. So I'm willing to drop the battery as long as I don't need to bend down and push the button on the board. I like to have this at maximum, but you can set it up to whatever you like. Let's say 4 days, confirm, that simple. Here we have drivetrain. This is something that is, like I say, for different boards, like for example, the Atlas Pro also have a gear, well, maybe in the future we will have hub, or maybe future boards from X-Ray, not particularly the Flex, but other boards might have hub. So I'm gonna go belt, that's what I'm having right now. And there is always like a confirmation light on the board itself. Now we're gonna go to brake intensity, 9 being the highest. You can go all the way down. So I guess for beginners, you wanna set this a little bit softer, maybe 3. I'm not a beginner, I've been riding for a few years and I like to brake really hard, especially because I'm also very heavy. So I'm gonna set it to 9. And then we're gonna go into motor gears. So this is kind of settings that you don't really wanna mess with it. So it comes, most electric skateboards come with 15. So we're gonna mess with wheel gear or these things. We're not gonna change anything. The wheel diameter, so in case you change the wheel, you can change from 70 to 250. Yet again, many of these parameters are not because they're being only made for this board, even so this remote is perfect for this board because you have the lighting. It's also compatible with Atlas Pro, and I'm sure it's going to be compatible with other boards in the future. Here we have a 4-wheel drive, we can switch it on, turbo mode, max speed, we are seeing all that. We're going to go back. We're going to go into the remote now. And here we can have what control. So for example, we can have gear N off and on. I'm gonna have this deactivated, but you can set basically the time for this. You can have 5 seconds, 20 seconds, and off. So basically when you're riding, you stop at a traffic light, you're not touching this wheel at all, the gear N, basically it activates the wheel for how long is it that you are not riding, you're not using the wheel. So 1 second will be immediately, 5 seconds is after a little while, and 20 seconds. To reactivate the wheel, you just press once on the trigger. Now, particularly, I'm not a big fan of this one, but it's good to have it. Then we have parking mode. This one I really like. So basically, you hold the brake and push 3 times on the trigger, and it locks the wheels, and then basically this will do nothing. And to activate the wheel again, you just press once in the trigger. I'll show you that in a moment. Then we have free mode, in which if you hold the brakes, it's go in the backwards direction. Then we have cruise control. So while you're riding, you press twice on this one and it will keep the speed, same like in the cruise control of your car. Then we have gear limit. And gear limit, so you only limit to the gear 1 or gear 2. So that's in case you give this board to someone who never ride before, they're absolute beginners, and you're afraid that by accident they might push this button, go into turbo, and then kill themselves. So it's a good thing to have, especially for my daughter. My daughter tends to she likes to ride fast, but I know she can't. She won't be able to control it. Then we have shift lock, so basically locks shift gears while riding. I have this deactivated, of course. And then here we can go into display, and then we can have raise to wake. So when you are basically riding and not looking at the remote, the screen will dim off, and then when you rise, it will on. So I don't care about that. I like to have it always on. Then we have a screen rotation, and this is maybe the most important thing I have seen on this update. So you cannot access now, but later I'll show you what that means. Basically, it means that if you are a left-handed people, you've been blessed with this electric skateboard. You can now look at the screen while riding, while being a left-handed person. Here we can adjust the brightness. So there are only 2 settings, so it's like just dim for nighttime and this for daytime. And then you can change here between kilometers per hour and miles per hour. Then we go into calibration. We're not going to do that because it can already calibrate it. And in case you already link a smartphone to this board, well, here you can unbind them. And here we can choose the different dim colors. So blue, white, yellow, you name it. Let's go to this kind of greenish yellow color in there. Here we go. And now you see that everything have changed to green. Now we are back into the home screen, and let me show you quickly what that rotation can do. So if I hold the remote like this, for me that I'm left-handed, this is a world of difference, because now I can still look at the screen while riding. So I can still accelerate, brake, use the trigger. I can even reach some of these buttons. I think the only button that I'm not going to be able to easily reach is this one for cruise control. But other than that, that's amazing. Now, if you're right-handed, simple, just hold it with your right hand, and it will automatically display the speed for you. So if you're riding, you go up and look at the speed. Now, for me being left-handed, this is absolutely awesome. So I can ride, go up, and look at the speed. So left-handed people, that is what, 20% of everybody, something like that. So it affects a lot of people, actually. So it's good that finally an electric skateboard company take action about that and do something for everybody. So now let's take a closer look at the screen, and we have the gear indicator, the trip indicator, odometer. Here we have the speed in kilometers per hour. Here we have the battery remaining on the remote, and on the board, here is the signal, the connection signal to the remote. And here we have the drive power. So we have 2-wheel drive power. You can switch it to 4-wheel drive for the compatible electric skateboards that already have 4-wheel drive. Here is the light indicator, and this is the lamp indicator. Now we turn on the light. Here we have it. I have it set to purple at the moment, but there are different color lights. We're going to be taking a look at that in just a moment. The screen is also a touch screen, but there isn't much that you can do besides the double tap to switch between kilometers per hour into wattage, so into the power that is consuming. We can also slide from the side, so slide from one side, slide again to go out. You cannot have to push really hard. There we go. So you can slide from other side to access the light settings. And if you're in the home screen and you slide up, you access these quick settings. you really need to push pretty hard. Now, I asked X-Way about that, why you need to push really hard, and they told me that by the time this hit full production, this is not going to be an issue. You're going to slide easily and no need to push that hard. So you slide from the bottom, it's the same. You can adjust the settings here for the remote, so it's daytime, nighttime, lock the rotation of the remote, 2-wheel drive to 4-wheel drive, and a tip, I forgot what that is. We're going to slide here from the side. You can access the light settings, so you can see the brightness. And then here we have the light color. Let's take a look at that. Let's go purple, blue, magenta. You have all these colors. Let's see. Let's turn this on first, so I can show you better. And now we're gonna go again into colors, so you can see all the different colors. We have blue. This one looks really nice. Green, yellow, red, purple. Purple being one of my favorites. Again, let's now go back. And we also do have animations. Have glow. We have aurora. You can see also the kind of like going like breathing. I'm not sure if you can appreciate that on the video, but then we have also radiance. I guess some of these animations you need to accelerate so you can see in it. Then we have prism. This automatically doing some animations like the whole time. Meteor, comet. Some of the names for these animations are the same as the X-Way wave light that they have on the tail. So if you're familiar with that board, you know what this is. Illuminate. Okay. Now, for example, Meteor, you can see the lights goes off. Let me show you now from the home screen. I'm gonna accelerate. You can see the light going in there. That's pretty cool. So you have basically by just looking down at your board, you can know if you're at full speed or not without even having to look at the remote. Another way to change between the different lighting styles is by double pressing on the light button. So you can turn it off right in there. You saw the icon went off. You can turn it on or double tap, and that show you the different modes. I'm gonna go from turbo to gear 1. You see the light went green here? I love that. Second gear is green and yellow. Third gear is green, yellow, and orange. And that's turbo. That's very clever. Now we're gonna switch to all the different light systems. Double tap again. And we have, this is probably my favorite one. It's kind of like pink, a little bit yellow on the front, and it had this really cool animation. I really like this one. This is kind of solid. Let me see what happens when I accelerate. Okay, that's just the solid light. Let's see what other light we have. This is a bit too colorful for me. I don't quite like it, and I keep changing more colors. This is the one that activates while going, but it's colorful again, so it's not a solid one. You have this nice animation, it's just a bit too colorful. By the way, I talked to X-Way and I asked them if they're gonna have some new animations, and they asked me if I have any suggestions. So I'm actually going to their office next week and I'm gonna meet them in person and I'm gonna tell them a few suggestions that I have. So if you have any suggestions for what light animations and colors combinations that you would like to see, let me know in the comment section down below. Besides the different light combinations and animations that you can have, there are also some light indicators. For example, if you're riding and you hold the remote in this position, so there's a gyroscope inside this remote, and it knows if you're holding it like this or if you're holding it like this. So for example, if I'm holding it like this and double tap, we have indicators. We have these yellow lights moving only on the left side. So let me show you now from this side. So if you are turning right, you have this light indicator, sound like a car. Now another light that you can have is, for example, if I hold the brake, now we have red light and only on the tail. Now if I change directions, so I'm going in reverse, it's showing me what's the direction of the board. Right? change directions to the other side, and it's showing me the direction of the board yet again. And another light that you can have is this one right here. You hold the brake, you can see it's only show red on the back, but if I press 3 times on the trigger, 1, 2, 3, now it shows red on both sides. That means the wheels are locked. They're not meant to spin anymore. And if I touch the remote, and if I want to accelerate, nothing happens because it's on parking mode. And to deactivate the parking mode, you simply just touch 1 on the trigger, and that's it. Okay guys, so I'm now gonna fully charge this board. I'm gonna go for a ride, slightly tomorrow. So I'm gonna keep this video into a part 1, part 2. Once in a week we can see all the features and all the settings here of the Rexus in combination with all the different light combinations. It's probably gonna be a long video already. And I'm gonna leave part 2 for the riding experience and probably the range and the speed. So I'll catch you up on the next video. Probably click somewhere in there if the video is already done. I'm gonna be linking this video also in the description down below and in the comments. By the way, talking about the comments, don't forget that you can have suggestions for what kind of light would you like to see on the Flex. I'm talking about light combinations, like maybe 2 different colors at the same time, or light animations. You know, if your comment get a lot of upvotes, I'm pretty sure actually it's gonna make your comment alive, and you're gonna have those lights set on the Flex 2 Pro and in the Paragon as well. Okay guys, I see you in the next one.